Welcome to our next test. This test I call the Three Little Pigs, and hopefully this brings back a memory. I think many different cultures, the Three Little Javelinas, many cultures have a story that is somewhat similar. The Three Little Pigs is a story about three pigs who built their houses out of straw, wood, or bricks, and they are pursued by a wolf who would like to have them for dinner, and he threatens to blow their houses down. The straw and wood, clearly not as solid as the one who builds with bricks. And so what I'd like you to imagine, instead of just a single pig that builds their house out of straw, maybe a whole entire village, or within a village, all of the pigs who build their house with straw are in one group, all of those who build them with wood or twigs are in a second group, and all of those who build their houses with bricks are in yet a third group. Because what you'll notice here is that we have a distribution. So that implies that we have more than one individual in this particular category. Now, this could be any three things. We're just using the Three Little Pigs as our particular example. This could be three different race ethnicity groups. This could be three different schools of thought. It could be three different diets. It could be three interventions. It could be a medication at a certain dose, a second dose, and a placebo. So it could be any number of different things here where we have three different categories. And then on this axis, you'll notice that we have hash marks, and that should instantly imply to you that we are working with a continuous variable. So either interval or ratio. In this case, we have all of the piggies who built their house out of straw, all of the piggies who built their house out of wood, and all of the piggies who built their house out of bricks. Those who built it with straw look like they sleep a little less. Those with wood sleep the most, and those with bricks kind of somewhere in between. And so one of the things that's important here is that we could rearrange these three categories if we thought that they were not in any particular order. It's also important to notice that this may not be linear. It may be low, high, and then medium. It doesn't have to be in a particular directional sense. I think sometimes people confuse this with the simple linear regression that is sort of in an order in terms of the findings that we find. So these can really be high, medium, low, high, low, medium in terms of what we find here. So if this looks familiar, then that's great. If you were to cover up this side over here with the bricks, this should look very similar to what we saw with the boys and the girls and their average heights. So it is very similar to the independent samples t-test. However, we're expanding this conceptually now to include more than just the two groups. Before, with the independent t-test, we had only two groups were allowed, but with three categories, now we can have three or four or however many. This conceptually can expand. One thing that I point out to people when I'm showing this similarity is that this is called the one-way ANOVA. The independent t-test is just a special case of the one-way ANOVA that only has two categories. And so mathematically behind the scenes, they are very similar to each other. And the only difference is that now we're dealing with 3 or 4 or 5 or more categories when we get to the Three Little Pigs. All right, so we kind of covered this idea. Each group has an average of some kind of continuous variable. We would like to be able to compare the averages of the different groups. And so instead of having a dichotomous variable, let's go ahead and look at our test grid. Instead of having a dichotomous variable, now we're looking at something that's nominal or ordinal. And this is where we get into the realm of the one-way ANOVA. And so this is the simple version, this is the complicated version, and these are very similar to each other. So we like to talk about them together. So each group has an average of some continuous variable. We would like to compare those averages. So here we have a nominal or ordinal variable which has 3 or more categories. If it only had 2, it would be called dichotomous. And then we also have a continuous variable for which we can have averages, standard deviations, variances, those kinds of things. This test is called a one-way ANOVA, and ANOVA is short for analysis of variance, the ANOVA, and so that's where we get ANOVA. And you'll see again that both we're testing, we say we're testing the means, but the variances become important in this particular scenario. So here is the null and alternate hypothesis that you learned from the independent samples t-test. The null hypothesis is that the average for whatever group 1 is equal to the average for group 2. We could say the average for boys is equal to the average for girls. And more specifically, we might say the average height for girls is equal to the average height. Did I say that backwards? Average height for boys is equal to the average height for girls. The alternate then is that the average for group 1 does not equal the average for group 2. Remember, the null and alternate have to encompass all possible combinations, everything that could possibly happen. And so either group 1 is or is not equal to group 2. So that was our independent t-test. For the one-way ANOVA, we are simply expanding this and morphing it a little bit in order to state the null and alternate hypotheses. The null is that the average for group 1 is equal to the average for group 2 is equal to the average for group 3. If we have 4 groups, it would be is equal to the average for group 4, and on until we just say that the averages for all the groups are equal to each other. And we would imagine this as a whole bunch of little histograms, just kind of all right in the same place. All the averages are exactly in the same place. Now, the alternate hypothesis, remember these two things have to capture all possible scenarios. So the alternate is that at least one of the group's average is not equal. And we sometimes stop there, but where it's implied is not equal to at least one other group average. And so at least one of the groups is not equal to the other ones. So let's take a look at what that could look like visually. Here are 3 groups. We have A and B and C. And I think a lot of people would say, yeah, C is far away. C is different than the other groups. And it looks like A and B really aren't that different from each other. So that would probably be, it looks like a pretty good interpretation, just the eyeball test. So eyeball test can be very good. Here we have 4 different groups. And if we ignored group D and we just compared A, B, and C, it's probably the case that A and B are not different from each other. It's probably the case that B and C are not different from each other, but it looks like A and C are different from each other. And so A is different than C. And then if we add in this whole discussion about D, D looks like it's different from all of them. So B is not really different from the other ones that are around it. So we might sit here and look at histograms that are overlapping for a very long time. However, sometimes it is hard to tell for sure. And so that's why we ask the computer to use statistics and to numerically calculate whether these are really all that different from each other. And so statistics, specifically the one-way ANOVA, will give us an answer about whether at least one of the groups is different. So that for starters, but then it also can let us know which group is different from the others. So in summary, a one-way ANOVA has a variable with 3 or more categories, could be nominal or ordinal. It has a second variable that is a continuous variable, and we're looking at the average for each of those different groups. And we're wondering if those averages or means are all the same, or if one or more of them is different. And so this is the null hypothesis. All of the means are the same. The alternate is that one or more of those averages are different. So that concludes our intro video for the one-way ANOVA. Next, I'll show you how to run the one-way ANOVA in SPSS.